Good morning. I just became a Certified Auctioneer Institute designee or CAI designee auctioneer from the National Auctioneers Association. So what does that mean? My name is Jason Roski. I'm the owner of the auctioneer here at Casey Auction Company in Kansas City, Missouri. And let me go ahead and share this on my page real quick, if I can, while it's loading. But let me tell you real quick what the Certified Auctioneers Institute is. I'm going to tell you what it is, what it's important, why it's important to you if you're considering hiring an auctioneer, or why it's important to you if you're an auctioneer considering achieving the designation, and what you can expect if you decide to take on the program through the National Auctioneers Association. I apologize in advance. I'm fighting allergies and cold-like symptoms today, but I'll try and get through this as quickly and as cleanly as is possible. And hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. So the Certified Auctioneers Institute, what is that? What is that program? What's the meaning of it, purpose of it? Why is it considered the top tier designation if you're an auctioneer? What sets it apart from other programs, and what is its validity in the auction industry and to customers and clients who are looking at different options and see somebody has a designation? So the CAI program was started in the 70s, late 70s. There's been some changes over the years to the program name, but it's widely regarded that it started in the late 70s. Thousands of auctioneers have gone through the program, of course, starting in the 70s. Some of those auctioneers have retired, some have passed on, some are no longer involved in the auction industry. But as of today, there are about 4% of members in the National Auctioneers Association have achieved the CAI designation. And the National Auctioneers Association represents about 5% of all auctioneers in the industry, which is a really low number. Of course, association membership rolls have dropped across all industries in the last 10 to 15 years. But according to some numbers I was researching, there are some in the range of 80,000 auctioneers out there in the world right now in the United States. And so if we look at that number, we are about 0.1% of all auctioneers in the industry who have achieved and have earned on our Certified Auctioneers Institute designation. So what is it? What is the program? The program is a 3-year program, happens at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, basically on spring break every year. So the last 3 years I've missed spring break with my family and decided it was worth that investment of time to go and learn from some of the best auctioneers in the industry and other business professionals. John Hamilton talked to us about negotiation, who's obviously not an auctioneer, but he works with a lot of auctioneers and state associations. We visited different types of auction facilities. We talked about different types of auction projects and companies and what that all means. And so what it really, and then each year you have a project or a proposal or a plan to put together. So you not only have the week in Indiana, you also have work to do between seasons, between years to further your business. And basically, any certification, whether it's in auctioneering or real estate or CPAs or attorneys, anytime you add letters to your name, you're furthering your education to improve your business in one aspect or another. And it usually indicates that whoever has achieved that has invested time, effort, resources to do that. And it should set those people apart from the rest of the industry. And the same holds true in the auction industry. So it's a 3-year program. You have to apply to get in. It is not open to anybody. There are certain ramifications and benchmarks you have to clear before you're accepted into the program. Once you're accepted in, you go to the first class kind of wide-eyed. You have no idea what to expect. You're in a room with anywhere from 35 to 60 other auctioneers, depending upon the class. Some years there's a lot, some years there's few. But you get to learn about so many different aspects of the auction industry. Our company specializes in fine art and antiques and estate liquidation, specializing mainly in jewelry, artwork, fine furniture, and fine decorative arts. That's our niche. That's what we are passionate about. That's what we're really good at. Does that mean I can't learn from an auto auctioneer or from a cattle auctioneer or a real estate auctioneer? Absolutely not. The processes that each company has in place can bring so much value to a company like mine, because I can look at what they're doing and apply those things to my business, whether it's marketing, whether it's customer experience, whether it's logistics and traffic flow here in my office. All of those things translate into different auction fields. And so you get to learn best practices there's really no other way to learn in that type of environment, where if you're an auctioneer and thinking about it, it's a very safe, very comfortable, very powerful environment. Last year, John Nichols was a CAI, during his CAI designation. Well, he was the president of the NAA. This year, in our class, Barrett Bray won last year's IAC bid calling competition at the National Auctioneers Conference and Show. Every class has our superstars, our leaders in the industry. If you look at the leadership in the National Auctioneers Association, those people who you would think are doing really, really strong things in the industry, a vast majority of them are going to have the CAI designation. And it's partly the education you receive. Hey, Kathy, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or thoughts, let me know. Just go ahead and post them here. It's not the education you receive, which is top notch. It's also the relationships that you garner while you're there. So a big part of the NAA, the CAI program, is the fellowship and the networking opportunities. I was speaking with some of the administration from the NAA. MarkNet, which is a huge auction auction company in the industry, was founded on a napkin after hours at CAI. Long-term business partnerships have been formed, and alliances have been formed there at the CAI program, in the class, but outside of the class as well. So much of what happens there is hard to quantify, but I know I have 39 classmates that we all achieve the CAI designation. I can call any one of them at any time and ask a question about my business or theirs as it relates to mine, and I will get an honest answer, and I will get truthful answers, which makes my business so much more effective going forward. And it's something you don't take advantage of, but it's something that is there, that as an auctioneer, if you're thinking about taking the program, you really can't put a price on those powerful connections. Walt Kay, Texas's Storage Wars auctioneers, was in my class and is a great, great guy, extremely intelligent, was a CPA, retired from that, was bored, and became an auctioneer, took on storage auctions, and the rest is history. He's doing magnificent work in Texas. Not quite the work I want to do or the way I want to do, but there are things I've learned from Walt over the last 3 years that I would have never learned otherwise, about him as a person and about him and his company, that I've definitely taken and implemented some of his tactics into what I do on a daily basis, which makes us more effective for our customers, for our clients. From a client standpoint, if you're considering hiring an auctioneer and you see one that has the CAI designation, you can rest assured that they have spent a huge sum of money and a large portion of time to better themselves as a person and as an industry professional and as an industry leader. That somebody who's just doing this on the weekends, supplemental part-time, there's nothing wrong with that, and most times they're going to handle an estate situation or your situation just fine. But I will tell you what, those of us who've gone through CAI, there is a brotherhood, a sisterhood amongst those who went. Kathy was a member of my CAI class. She is a CAI designee now. She is an administrative manager for several state associations. And she learned things in that course that I know will make her work more effective and make those organizations and associations more effective, which will make the auction industry more effective and efficient and better to serve you as a client or customer. As a customer, what does it matter to you? Well, if you are a collector of something, a well-marketed advertising campaign by somebody is going to reach those items to you that you're interested in. And we learned a lot about marketing in the CAI course over the last 3 years. One of the other things that we did is put together a business plan for our own business, or an aspect of it. And I will tell you, putting things in paper makes them so much more real. There are changes going to happen here at the KC Auction Company in the next 3 to 6 months that I've been talking about for a while, but I put it on paper, presented it to my class, and it became important, and it became a social behavior document. I presented this to my class. I said, in the next 3 to 6 months, I want to find a new location that works for my business better. If I don't do that, and there's nothing that says I can't or won't, but if I don't do that, I don't feel like I've let my classmates down because I told them that I would. And by doing so, I'll make my business run more efficiently and be able to better serve our clients and customers, both with the location that we're looking for. So if you're considering hiring an auctioneer, the CAI designation, in most instances may not mean anything, but I'll tell you what, if you have a bit of a challenging estate, you want somebody who has the resources to pick up the phone and call somebody across the country and say, hey, John in Hawaii, I've got this collection of Hawaiian artifacts. Do you know anything I should do about it? Friends who deal in big machinery in Ohio and Indiana, friends who deal in real estate in Tennessee and in Texas. I have a network of people that I can truly trust with any project I send their way to know that they're going to handle it the right way, professional way. And that's just not something you can gather by sitting in your own office day after day after year. For the auctioneers watching this, thinking about doing it, it's a big expense. It's a fair amount of money. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of work. But I'll tell you what, the people that you meet, both in your class and the classes around you, are just amazing. And everybody in Bloomington, we all have our own businesses. We all want to and need to be successful. But we all, at the end of the day, even after year one, we all had a vested interest in our neighbor's success. Hey, Kristen, how you doing? Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, let me know. But we all had, Kristen was in my class as well. We all have a vested interest in our neighbors in our classes doing well and helping them succeed to the best of their abilities. Kristen has asked questions because I know a lot about sterling silver. It's just something I'm passionate about. She asked me questions. She was able to go to her client then and say, here's what I found out. This is what I want to talk, this is what I want to market it. This is what our buyers are going to be looking for. And so that she put that out there, and her auction may have done the same or not, but it certainly didn't do worse than if she hadn't got that information. It probably did better. Same holds true for, there's not a lot of art and antique auctioneers in the industry. Honestly, there's a lot more agriculture. There's a lot more big iron, which is construction machinery, car dealers, contract auctioneers, real estate auctioneers. There's dozens of different categories of auctioneers. And so in our class, we have all of them covered. It's kind of amazing. Benefit auctioneers, I mean, that's a huge specialty that's coming up in the industry. And there are people who specialize just in benefit auctions. And because of that, I'm able to tap into resources that I just didn't have before and feel confident that I can give a good answer based upon experience and their relationships. Kristen says the friendships and networking builds with every penny. Absolutely. And it's a hard thing to quantify. It really is. And I understand. I'm sure Kristen understands as well. It's a hard thing. And I heard that before I joined up. The networking and the relationships are so important. And going to Nick's, which is a local eatery and bar there in Bloomington, after hours, there's some $1 million and $1 billion deals that we put together in Nick's after hours, after class. And it's something that you can't quantify, but it definitely is there. And you have to remember, and something else is kind of fun, Mark Cuban from Shark Tank and owner of the San Antonio, the Dallas Mavs, he went to in Bloomington, Indiana University. The week after we were there, he posted a picture on his Instagram account walking into Nick's, talking about going to Sink the Biz, which is if you've been to Nick's, you know what it is. If not, you'll have to go to find out. But like Chris said, the networking opportunities, just in your class alone, you're going to have 35 to 60 people you can call at any given time and say, hey, I need help with this. I have a project in your neck of the woods. Would you be interested in taking a look at it? Can we co-op on that? Can we broker a deal together on this? And the same holds true the other direction. And it really is a huge benefit to all of our businesses, even if it's not something you use regularly. Just having that option there gives you more options when you're speaking to a client. When you're speaking to a friend who says, I've got, my grandmother's in Texas and I just don't know who to turn to. I've got all these, she's getting ready to go to a retirement home. She needs to sell the house and contents. I have people in Texas I can refer that to. Somebody needs a benefit auctioneer in St. Louis or in Indianapolis. I have people I can turn to for that. I have somebody who has, commercial goods in Virginia or in Tennessee. I have people all over the country I can call and truly trust to get the job done correctly and well. And I've done it already, and I'll continue to do it. And people have sent business my way. We're able to better serve our customers because we've had consignments shipped to us from other parts of the country because I have those established relationships in place. And my brothers and sisters in the CAI program knew that I would do a good job with those assets. And they trusted me with their clients, and it worked out really well. So those are just kind of the highlight levels. Again, there's hundreds of us who have earned the designation, which sounds like a big number when you consider there's over 4,000 NAA members and over 80,000 auctioneers in the industry. Those of us who have taken the time and effort to perform that task, it's a small number. Dan Clark, legendary Dan Clark. If you're in the livestock auction industry, you know who Dan Clark is. He was in my class, and Dan is not a young man. I think he would mind me saying he's been doing this a while, and he felt it was so important. He went ahead and did it in his 60s, and he feels like his business is going to get much better going forward because of the things that he learned. And he's in North Dakota, in the middle of kind of, farm country. That's where I'm from. I'm from Minnesota, in the middle of nowhere. My grandma and grandpa, we sold their farm a couple of years ago. So I understand. It's amazing that somebody who's established in the industry, who is considered a legend by many, found it was worthwhile and important enough to register and expend time, and the resources, and the money to get that designation. And I know Dan is a very humble man, but we were all thrilled to have him in our class. And if you want to get an idea of the man in action, just go to YouTube and type in Dan Clark Livestock Auction and see him rattle off those numbers and sell those head. It's an amazing thing to watch. He's extremely talented at what he does. And his business will get better now in his 60s because he took the CAI course and got his designation. I want to thank my classmates for tuning in today and watching and commenting and supporting my video endeavor that I do every week here on Behind the Gavel with Jason. If you're watching sometime in the future, either here on Facebook or on YouTube, have questions, go and post them here. Drop us an email at info@kcauctioncompany.com. Drop us a direct message. You can always give us a call at 816-283-3633. So glad you watched. So glad you posted some comments here. Again, we do this every week, Behind the Gavel with Jason, and we have some great things happening at the auction. That's one of our best auctions in the last 2 or 3 years, is getting ready to go online in about a week and a half. Really excited about it and looking at more things here soon. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a great weekend.